Hey Barney's Guitarists, here's a few voicing options for acoustic guitar for Yet Not I But Through Christ in Me. The intro, you can get the melody note on top with a few voicings that might just aren't too tricky but might not be a stock standard. So here's your C, just get the C note on top and it goes to F6 on A. So here's the A note in the bass and the F6 is F, A and D, and that D is written there on the chart as the melody note. So there's the chord. Open A string, third fret on the D, which is an F, second fret on the G, which is an A, third fret on the B, which is a D. Now to C over G with an E on top. Here's the G in the bass. Here's, think the rest of your C chord like that. So you could, some people play it with a just extra, pretty chunky down there, especially if the band's playing. So I'd suggest maybe leave that C out because you're going to get the C on top up in there and play like that. So you've got, it's like the C chord, but just drop your ring finger across, or probably your ring finger across, and then mute the A string. So you've got E and G and C, and then E on top, open and ringing, which leaves your pinky free to play the G on beat 4 of that third bar, which is the other little bit of melody. So, and then you're back, same as the second bar, to F6 on A. Just stop, don't hit the high E string because you want the D melody, because the melody is C of the C chord, D on the F6 on A, E with the C over G, and then back to D, E, G, F6 over A. Okay, so there's a couple of different voicings there, particularly if you're doing the solo intro to it or something, or there's a breakdown verse, or you just got the outro or something, or interlude. They're nice ones to work towards if you can. Smack the chords if you can't, but it'll still work. Here's some voicing choices. Just might also add a little dimension to playing if you want to work up those, which would be great. What gift of, there's the melody, what gift of grace. So open E string ringing on the first chord. Da, da, da. Now it goes to an F. I reckon an F2 chord here. So you got thumb on the F, then octave to the F, open G, and C on top. It's a really pretty sort of sound. It's a bit hard to get your hand around, but anything to do with F's always hard. Can't help you there. This is just a nicer one, and actually I don't think it's as hard as ripping this all the time. That sounds kind of bulky, and it always is not going to have any ringing strings, and acoustic guitars are nice with ringing strings, let's be honest. So here's my advice: F, F, G, C. Now the melody note is a C to an A. So what you go is you go with the C on top, and then a little hammer into the A note there, and that kind of, you can really hear the melody going by even though you're strumming it. So there's an A minor on beat 3 or beat 4 of what's bar 7 on the chart. G to E is the now to give. And you go to a G, but you got the D on top. Here's my joy, righteousness and freedom. There's that little F thing again. Okay, so on the chart I went to just a G chord on bar 11. It has G sus to G, but that's not so easy to grab. The melody note doesn't actually do what would be the sus 4, which is the C to the B. So I don't know how essential for us it is. And just if it doesn't fit easy on the guitar, I'm not advising working so hard at that. When it goes to the C sus, you can play... instead of C, E, G, C, you can put the F. Yeah. It's a nice way to do that. It kind of fits in underneath the melody note. that's a version of an F there when it goes into the, not quite the chorus, but the second half. The melody note's the A, so playing just that open, the G sus with the open G is not quite as strong. So maybe you want to put it in there, or at least hammer on quickly to it. What's the melody? To this I hope only Jesus. And A, G, for my life, we're wholly bound to. Now, in that bar 16, you've got G sus to G. Often a G sus is another way that it can often sound like what's going on is the 4 chord going to the 1 chord over the 1 chord's bass the whole time. So that's kind of like a C over G, like we had in the introduction, because you get the melody note of the C there. The melody note actually on the tune is a D, but you've got the C to B is what you're trying to grab. So I think that'll work. Moving on. Oh, how strange and deep. Now it goes to a D minor 7 with a D on top. I reckon that version of the F6, which is an inversion of a D minor triad, D minor 7 triad, is worth grabbing, especially if you've got a bass player playing the D somewhere else. I mean, that is a bit hard to grab. I'm not advising that. And just the D in the bass, A and D again sounds a bit stark. You probably want the F in there somewhere, so I think that'll work. Strange and divine. I'm only really hitting 3 notes there. I can see all is mine, not yet, but through time. Again, I don't know whether that one and delaying is better than just going straight to the G. There's a 4 to 3, but again, that one's not as helpful, I don't think. So I just go the C over G. This is all in bar 19. And then you're into the interlude, the F6 on A, C over G. Anyway, there's some tips. Hope those are useful and give you some extra dimensions to your strums. Thanks.